It is the Fall Turf Festival at Gulfstream Park West, and it is our final week of racing. We're starting the day with a good main track, a good turf course, and we have $250,000 in our jackpot guarantee on the Rainbow Six, which starts in race number 5, Pete. Should be a fun week of racing.
Very, very tough sequence here this afternoon, at least in my opinion, so you're looking at a pretty good opportunity to take down that jackpot pool here this afternoon. 20 cents the minimum wager. You're dealing with some unknowns as far as the good turf course and the good main track. It'll be interesting to see how the racing conditions impact the racing here this afternoon. It's a very, very tricky program to begin with, and to throw in those two variables just makes it even tougher.
Yeah, and we got the wind really coming in strong right now, and we got that good main track, good turf course. If we don't get any more rain, I'm sure this is going to dry out. We'll see how the races play out throughout the afternoon, and we're going to start with our first race. It's a 5-furlong turf event, an allowance optional claimer, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Right now the scratches are the 2 Silver Sachet, the 7 Woo Pass, and number 8 Switch to the Lead. We're going to show you a video of a horse called Henry Song, who's my top pick in here from October 29th. You'll see he breaks and gets shuffled back at the start. Let's show that video, Pete. You'll see it right here. He goes out pretty good, and then he just gets shuffled back to last in the race, and he really's got nowhere to go. He closes nicely to be 4th in the race, but it looks like, you know, when you're going that distance, your race is basically over then.
Well, he had to need that last race. He hadn't been out since February for Christophe Clement, and who knows where he had been in terms of getting ready for that contest. He certainly will be better here this afternoon. He gets Joe Bravo back on board today. Joe rode him in both of his first 2 races and did quite well with him. So I should say. It's right. Henry's Song. That makes sense there. She is a filly, and she is the filly to beat in today's first race. Currently heavily favored. I figure she'll go heavily favored with the scratch with Silver Sachet.
Yeah, we both have the number 5 Perfect Step, who was closing best of all when finishing second to a horse that was scratched out of this race, Silver Sachet, which was a big scratch. And I just think this is a must-use. You have it on top of your ticket. I think if the 9's not up to the game, the 5 is strictly the one to beat.
I would agree with that on both fronts. I think the 5 and 9 are the A and B horses here. I just used the 5 on top, Perfect Step. Based on the given to ground, this filly ran very, very well 2 starts ago over a good turf course at Hawthorne. Has an Arlington turf race where a second place run and an A other than for 41,000. Here's another one, Should Improve. Second start in South Florida for Christine Jenks and Hector Vieira. Perfect Step under Carlos Marquez will be charging hard. I think she'll actually be in front of Henry Song early. Gives her a little more tactical advantage.
Well, I threw the 3 little Daniela on the ticket with the scratch of number 2 Silver Sachet, and I knew Pete would never use this horse because she's stepping up. She circled the field. She finished 4th against $30,000 2 lifetime claimers. That's rule number 27 in Pete's book. Never use a horse stepping up from condition claimers into open company.
That's a true statement. We agreed off camera to be a little more civil this week. We've had some viewers saying that I've been a little rough on Mr. Nicoletti throughout the winter season.
I'm your elder, you know.
I said Mr. Nicoletti. In any case, we're going to try to be nicer to each other, especially with the last week of racing and Thanksgiving coming up, because I am very thankful to be here at Gulfstream Park West. So 5 and 9 for me in the first. Number 6, Nikki Flash, is the unknown runner coming in from Delaware, first time on the grass. Maybe rates a look for a little bit of a price.
Well, let's go to the second race. This is a 6-furlong maiden claiming event. Filly 2-year-olds, $25,000 scratch. The 2 Media Savvy, and our main track listed is good. We want to go back and show you a race from November 9th, and this is the 3-horse toward that day, Tormenta de Oro.
For me, this is a beware backtrack. You used her on top. I didn't like this race because I think she's probably supposed to win this. There she is in the Sal Santoro colors racing along in 4th. She's going to get a very good trip for Rio. She's actually going to get inside of Transeunte. Mind you, the 2 horses going to beat her. The 2 horses getting out on the turn there, and Carrie's Exclusive Symphony wide. Tormenta de Oro just took over. She switches leads like she's supposed to do, and Tormenta de Oro does not get by Transeunte, who's wandering, and after setting pretty quick splits, was supposed to not finish up that day. Transeunte came back to run okay, but Tormenta de Oro with a perfect trip that afternoon. I expected her to deliver the goods, and she could not do it that afternoon. I'll try to beat her here. I'll go with the first-time starter from the Kathleen O'Connell barn, number 3, Lightning Quick. Not working Lightning Quick, but that's okay because O'Connell horses are always ready to go first time out of the gate. Although my second pick, Cold-Hearted Woman, was also a first-time starter for O'Connell last time out. Didn't run at all, but does get a big rider switch here today. Blinker's go on to try to keep her more focused. Remembering that race, that's a good thing, because she had absolutely no idea what she was doing in the early stages of that race. Got shuffled way back and then just really threw out the proverbial anchor. So I thought this race was kind of tough, and I'm going to try to pick a couple of horses that'll be forgot about at the win.
Well, I think the number one, Tormenta d'Oro, as you mentioned, will have on top, moves way up with the scratch of the 2 Media Savvy. She's the only horse I thought here that had a chance to beat the 1 horse. Also used the 3 Lightning Quick for all the reasons you mentioned. And I threw the number 6 on, and that's Golden Emily. Dropped after facing maiden special weight on the grass, 5 furlongs. You've seen that race, made a middle move fade and drop in competition today.
Dropping competition and a huge pace advantage. If you want to know who's going to be in front in the second race, at least at the first call, I can pretty well guarantee, even if she stumbles at the start, Golden Emily will pick herself up and land on top here, because of the horses that have run, there's no speed in here. Golden Emily is quick anyway, as she's been making the lead or being close to the lead against much, much better fillies.
And that's a great point to watch these earlier races, because when the Rainbow Six sequence starts, I want to see if the race's track is playing to horses that want to be on the lead. With the moisture in the track, as we mentioned, the track listed as good, the main track. Got to watch these races. Same thing with the turf, sort of get a handle on how these races during the afternoon might run. Anything else in this race before we go to the third?
The only notation I would make is to reinforce something that you and I said earlier in the meeting about the main track when it rains. For our money, and Ronnie has a lot more frame of reference than I do on the topic, but I was a South Florida native for a long time, born and raised down here. When this racetrack is wet and continues to get rain, it's hard to make ground. But when it's had water on it and it dries out like the stiff breeze we have here, it tends to favor horses coming from off the pace.
So we're giving you a little homework to watch these earlier races. With that, we're going to go back to the turf for a third race. 7.5 furlongs, claim is 3 and up, $8,000. Scratch the MTO, number 12, Love Dr. Bill. I went with the number 7, Concert Stage. Turn it back to 7.5 furlongs. Dropping to this $8,000 level after stalking that race 5 wide, finishing second against $12,500 claimers, going a mile in the 16th. Gustavo Delgado just doing an excellent job here. Edgar Zayas atop, the only 8-time turf winner in the field.
He's a hard-knocking horse. Concert Stage gives his best effort. He has a tendency to want to get out when they turn for home, as evident by his 2 wins this summer, one of which he was disqualified, and the other one was questionable because he did drift pretty bad that afternoon as well. He fired good last time out from Lonesome Street, who was off an extended vacation for Mike Maker. That was a Ken and Sarah Ramsey drop down. Concert Stage made up good ground while coming from off the speed. If he's going to be effective here today, I think he's going to have to do the same thing, because you have horses that are really speedsters, both on the turf and on the main track, like Contrip. Contrip's making the lead, going sprinting on the main track, stretching out over the grass. He'll definitely be forwardly placed, and I think with horses like Arctic and Breeze and Arian Silver in here, the pace will be spirited, and because of that, I went with a horse who I think will get a good run from the backfield, number 11, Jupiter. He comes with a caveat, though. He has not performed well over turf courses with given the ground, but I do think pace-wise he's going to get a very favorable scenario, and he does try awful hard, so I'll use him on top. He's 8-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to win his last race, and he ended up getting beaten ahead. That was against the $8,000 types, going a mile in the 16th. So maybe the turn back to 7.5 furlongs will be okay for number 11, Jupiter. I went with the other 8 horse in here, Arctic and Breeze, cutting back to the distance I was just talking about, 7.5 furlongs. Tactical speed needed to spring what I thought was going to be a mini upset in here. The gelding did just that when he defeated similar quality. At 38-1 was back on September 11th, so maybe, I don't know what his morning line is today, but number 8, Arctic and Breeze, maybe can spring a little bit of an upset in here.
He's going to have a problem pace-wise, but boy, he sure does try hard. He's really impressed me since being switched to the turf course. He just goes at one speed, but he does it the whole time and doesn't give up. So, I mean, I don't know how the pace will impact him. I think it'll impact him pretty heavy. Another horse I gave a look at was number 3, Exeter Road. He's going to be a huge price for Eddie Broom. These Broom horses are going to start to fire better, and Exeter Road is a horse that has a lot of back class. He's also a horse that's won 5 times over the turf course, and I think that his running style is well suited to this race, because I think the winner comes from off the speed, not only because there's given the ground, but because there's a lot of speed in here.
No, there is a lot of speed now. Just, one thing you look through, and that's sort of why I lean into the 7 horse in there, but I just thought Arctic and Breeze, if, things get fall into place for the horse, maybe it could score. Let's go. Anything else in the third before we go to race number 4? Fourth
You're
race.
the host. You boss me around. That's the new rule for the last 5 days
well,
of the meet.
I'm afraid of you now. After the 50 days of abuse, or 40-something days of abuse, I'm afraid to make the wrong move in here. Fourth race, 1 mile, claims fillies and mares 3 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life. Love these type of conditions. Or race since May 26. Scratch the number 5 in here, Bird Muddyful. Bird Muddyful? Bird Muddyful. We're going to show you a replay from November 13th, and it's 2-horse that day, Madam Grace, from the top of the stretch to wire, closing strongly to get beat just 3/4 of a length, Pete.
Actually, this may amuse some of our viewers out there. You have to watch Paco Lopez. He rides the eventual winner, number 4, Alguna, who is coming up on the outside of Divining. I'm trying to get my bearings here. That's Madam Grace in the yellow blinkers, about 7th right there. Beautiful job by the video crew highlighting her. Now watch Paco. He collars the leader, and he knows this horse on the outside's not going to get there, so he's going to go wrapping up. But watch this. Here comes Madam Grace rolling. If Paco had stood up about a stride or two earlier, it would have been embarrassing time on the announcer there, because I would have called him caught sleeping for sure. Madam Grace was flying that afternoon. In my opinion, she gets a pace scenario here today that will allow her to offer that same stretch kick, because even though there's only 7 horses in here, in my opinion, 3 of them do their best work on or near the lead.
I also used the number 3 in here, Exclusive Sage, turning back to a mile. Duel throughout, one of those speed horses, finished second. That was against 6,253 lifetime types, going a mile, 70 yards. Threw this one on the ticket. You just think with the turn back in distance today, not big turn back, but maybe can help this horse. I don't know if they're going to beat Madam Grace today, but no, I threw the 3 Exclusive Sage on for the reasons I just mentioned.
Well, there's an interesting notation here. The condition of this race is interesting. You have to draw your own conclusions here. This is non-winners of 3 or non-winners in 6 months. In my opinion, non-winners in 6 months may be an actually tougher condition than non-winners of 3 lifetime, and Madam Grace is in for the non-winners in 6 months. If this was a straight non-winners of 6 months, look at it this way. If this is a straight non-winners of 6 months, the 2 is a layover because she's dropping out of wide open. So against lifetime condition claimers, I don't see any difference. I think she's the horse to beat.
You also used the number 1 horse on your ticket?
Yeah, Gailey Suki will be coming from the backfield with Madam Grace. They'll probably be stride for stride with each other, and I figured they'd just run on as well. Gailey Suki does put in a good stretch charge as well as Madam Grace. I don't think she's quite as fast, though. She'll need a quick pace, as will Madam Grace, but I think Madam Grace can close into a sub-slow pace, whereas Gailey Suki is completely dependent on the pace.
Well, the 4 hard-knocking lady we both have on the ticket, I think is going to be out there playing catch me if you can. You got to have someone know how hold on for the try. This one, you know, we'll be there at the wire. Just don't know if it's good enough to beat number 2, Madam Grace in there. And I see you used the 4-2 also on your ticket. That's hard-knocking lady.
Yeah, the 4 hard-knocking lady, I think she might be the speed of the speed. And if you're Jockey Ever or Get to, you send some more. Hope to bottom out the 6 and 7, and then hope the stretch runners don't come and catch you. That's the only move here for hard-knocking lady.
Well, let's go to our 5th race. We're back on the turf. We mentioned the turf course listed is good. This is where the Rainbow 6 starts with a $250,000 jackpot guarantee. 5 furlongs, maiden 2-year-olds. A very nice race. I went with the number 7, Prima Storm, and boy, it's hard not to have this one on top of your ticket. I'm going to ask Pete once I get done telling you why, if he's going to single his horse in his pick 6 sequence. Turning back to 5 furlongs, duel for lead throughout, finished second as the favorite. Local debut, going 7.5 furlongs. Trainer Christophe Clement readied him for the shorter distance. Got a 3 furlong drill in him at Payson Park. Looks like he's set up to win here.
I agree completely. The winner of that last race, Two Step Temper, was a well-regarded first-time starter from the barn of Mike Maker, so the horse at least lost to a horse with some ability. It was a pretty stacked deck last time out. Prima Storm beat a couple of horses that will come back to win. Prima Storm is, as you touched on, primed for a good run here, and I used the horse on top. I hate races like this. We have the same 3 in the same order.
Yeah, do you single here, or you got to go a little? Yeah,
I do not single here. I think that the 9 and the 11 offer too much intrigue to single here.
Yeah, I mean, Irish Straight is making its local debut for trainer Graham Ocean, so right away you got to wake up and pay attention. First start, he only got beat ahead as the favorite in his 5 furlong career debut on the Laurel turf. Edgar Prado riding this turf course so better than just about anyone here, so it's hard not to have the number 9 Irish Straight on your ticket. And Short of the Party is making its career debut for a trainer I know we both like.
Yeah, Jason Service really, really good with first-time starters. I worry about the giving the ground for this horse because, in my opinion, Jason Service horses are best when they're on or near the lead. But Sure to Party looks like he has a post draw that could allow him to do just that, as he is, as my phone continues to drop there. Sure to Party is drawn outside, and he's also by Desert Party. He paid $110,000 for him. He's working bullets. I don't think you get the 20-1 morning line.
Yeah, I mean, there's a race I would not single. I'd have to use those 3 horses at least in my Rainbow Six ticket. We're going to go to the 6th race here. You got a little breeze out here, but we got everything under control now. 1 mile claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life, $6,250. I went with the one Dreaming of Andy A. I forgot the A there, but he's hoping for a clean trip. He had some trouble last time out. He got checked early, finished 6th. As a favorite at this level and distance. I think he gets enough tactical speed to complement his running style in here. Yeah, I put him on top of my ticket, but I'm not totally convinced he's the one to beat.
Well, I can tell you this. I probably single here, and it's not Dreaming of Andy A. It's number 2, Colonel John. Colonel John was 3rd last time, making ground at Ararat and Lion King. Lion King wore down the pace setter Ararat that afternoon. He beat Dreaming of Andy A. Now, listen, the comment line last time, check first turn weakened. That's true, but it didn't impact his run. He wasn't going to get anything anyway, in my opinion. And again, that's horse racing for you. That's just my opinion. But I think this horse is kind of phony from the standpoint of, I think he does his best running on or near the lead, even though some of his running lines make it seem like he can close and make ground. I don't think that's not his game. He gets a rider switch here this afternoon to Gabriel Saez. He was installed as 6-5 morning line favorite. I think that's a little ambitious against 5 there. Non-winners of 3 for 62.5. He may be 65, but that's an awful big leap to go out on the morning line.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little low. 5 Slicker turning back today. Of course, I put on my ticket. So did you, Pete. This one is, if you look at its record at a mile, he's had 7 races with 2 wins, rallied to finish 3rd behind aforementioned Dreaming of Andy A, and that was at a mile and 70 yards.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of a look here. There's some other speed in here. Lizard Repent will probably go to the front. That maybe is one of the reasons why the morning line is the way it is with Dreaming of Andy A, because they figure that he has the best form, he has the best connections, he took money last time, and he has an inside post with not a whole lot of speed. Even so, I'm not sold on his chances. Colonel John is reliable. He circled well on the outside, and he is my single in the Rainbow Six today.
Well, let's go. You anything else in here, Pete? The 3? No. Let's go to the 7th race. 5 furlongs on the grass, 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life were 3-year-olds. $12,500. Scratch the 3 clear status, the 7 Silver Armor, and the 8 Star Skipper. I went with the number 5 in here, and that's Yes, That's Me. This is the only 3-time winner in the field. 6 previous races, 3 wins in the seconds. Goes back to the grass to get the call for trainer Kirk Zeddy. You know all his stats. He's good with everything. 39, 40% all that time. So it just looks like the logical choice. But when I'm handicapping, I like to see a multiple winner, the horse that has more wins than everybody else.
Well, Yes, That's Me has 2 things he's going to have to do here this afternoon. And the first thing he's going to have to do is he's going to have to outsprint trouble with girls through the first quarter of a mile. Can he do it? I don't know. Second thing he's going to have to do is he's going to have to take to a turf course that's less than firm. Can he do it? I don't know. He's never shown any speed or any form on the grass. His grass race was pretty disappointing. It was back in May, but something had to have gone wrong because he was freshened up by Zadie since then. He's been very, very sharp since that time. I think he's fast, and I think he is definitely the horse to beat in here, and I used him on top. But this is a race where I can't just rely on Yes, That's Me, because there's too many questions for me on him, and he will be favored.
I also used the number 2, Don't Stop Back. This is stepping up against winners in the first start since closing defeat. $16,000 maidens going 5 furlongs. That was on the Meadowlands turf. Eddie Broom has Hot Apprentice, Tyler Gaffleone. Riding good form. I love the work that Eddie Broom does. So I put the number 2 horse on my ticket. But you're going to have to step up against these winners. But not a big jump because they're 2 lifetime types.
Well, Secret Ops, the horse that was second that afternoon, came back down here to South Florida to win. He was all out to do it, but at least he won right back from Don't Stop Back, defeating him. Trouble with Girls has a lot of intrigue to me. Installed at 15-1 on the morning line. This horse is a much better horse on the grass. Is he a much better horse on a good grass? I really don't know. But I know that his dirt form can completely be ignored because he doesn't want to run on the dirt. His best form is on the grass. He has been shown in the past that he can be effective at this trip against this level, and he might be forgot about because he does have some pretty ugly races lately.
Well, the number 10 Musical Journey, this one was a sharp second against similar quality. That was going 5 furlongs on the turf up north, and comes back here, goes, runs, duels for the lead, flattens out. I think that's going to be the proverbial screw tightener, and I'm expecting number 10 Musical Journey, if it can capture that form it showed up north at the Meadowlands, that the number 10 Musical Journey can run well.
Well, there's two things about this race, because this is a dual condition race again. If you're a 3-year-old, it doesn't matter how many races you've won, you're allowed in here. If you're an older horse, you have to be non-winners of 2. That's interesting to me, because there's only 2 horses in here that are 3-year-olds that are multiple winners. The 5, yes, that's me, who we both used because of that. And the 1 horse, Garabato. Garabato took a lot of money last time out. I liked him that afternoon. You liked him a little bit that afternoon. He was a little disappointing going 7 furlongs. Not sure that's his best lick. His race 3 back, 5th place finish on the turf course here at Gulfstream West, behind Delta Bluesman, who came back to win going long for White Rabbit Racing. Garabato, to me, is another horse that might be forgot about at the windows and is a viable alternative to what should be a heavy favorite, and yes, that's me.
So it's shaping up not to be a very easy Rainbow Six today.
No, it's not. I said at the top of the program, I think this is a very, very deep sequence, but at the same time, because it's so competitive, I think there is a chance the jackpot pool could go today.
Well, let's go to the 8th race today, 7 furlong claimers, non-winners of 3 in life, or that 6-month condition, May 26, $30,000 down to $25,000. Scratch the 8, Prichengo. We got a video we want to show you, and it is from November 14th, and it's the 1 horse that day, Nevsky, from the top of the stretch of the wire, closing to finish 3rd, beating the length. Thought it was a pretty nice performance.
Here's what I was impressed by with Nevsky. 1, he's way back, and secondly, he'd not shown the propensity in the past to be able to sit that kind of trip and finish with any amount of kick, and boy, he finishes up really well. Lover Bill drawing alongside Montana Cowboy. Lover Bill was well regarded by everybody that afternoon. Montana Cowboy had Burke Maiden against Sharp Maiden special weight field, but here comes Nevsky. I mean, where does he come from? This isn't the kind of race that he runs. He's a horse that likes to lay closer to the pace and then finish with interest while not being able to get the job done lately. I think they might have found something here. I don't know if it was by mistake. He kind of he was at the inside post that day, and he was kind of like Henry Song, a horse we talked about earlier. He couldn't keep up early, and he got shuffled back down on the rail. And credit to Orlando Boca Chica, he just took a shot and said, all right, well, I'll tuck him in and see if we can't run on from the back. They might be onto something here. I think he doesn't need to sit that far back, but certainly it showed that he can rally from off the speed, so why not let some of these other speed horses go?
Yeah, and number 6 Nevsky, I was really impressed with that performance, so I'll put him on top of my ticket. Number 2, Caminito, is cutting back to this 7 furlong distance on the dirt. Duel for the lead and finished 2nd. That was against $30,000. 2 lifetime claimers going 7.5 furlongs on the turf. You know, the old turf to dirt move. I'm going to be somewhere around there. The gelding, I think, should be a little bit of a price, and he has run well when making similar distance and surface switches.
A couple of notations about Caminito's company lines. The winner of that last race, Ricochet, was an invader from Jason Service's barn, so that was all right with me. To race 2 back, the horse that was 2nd, Charlie in Charge, he dropped and plunged to get the job done as a heavy favorite against 62.5, but the winner of that race, Argosy, is a solid allowance horse for Ralph Nix. So Caminito's company lines are solid. If you think he can run as well on the dirt course as he does on the dirt, he definitely merits consideration. He made my ticket. I went with Rock Diamond down inside. He doesn't want any part of going long. They tried him last time as an experiment. He lost to Dude Man, who was an impressive winner from the Jane Sabelli barn. None Like Nolan came back to blow the doors off a field to his next race. And None Like Nolan, Ronnie, as you know, ran the other day here at Gulfstream West. He was out-kicked to the wire while finishing 2nd behind multiple stakes winner, Senor Quisquiano.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice race. Well, that was a day that you just set up for Sir Quisquiano with sloppy track and lots of scratches in the race, so no fault of that horse. I also used the 7 Go Bernie Go, and this one in my mind leaves a little doubt as to what his running tactics will be. Cuts back to a sprint, set the pace, got caught late in a pair of route races at Monmouth. Jorge Navarro, he's good with the route to sprint angle. I think this horse will be on the engine playing, as I mentioned, Catch Me If You Can.
I think so too. First start from Monmouth, so I'm going to pass. I think Rock Diamond will also sense from the inside gate they might do a little too much too soon.
That's how we see the 8th race. The 9th race is 1 mile on the good turf course. Maiden claimers fillies, 2-year-olds, $25,000. Scratched the 1 More Than Rainbows. The 2 Awestruck Wonder also scratched what I thought would be the big favorite in here, and that's the 6 Susie's Pride of Paris. We do have a video we want to show you from November 9th, and it's the Caribbean Princess. She was the 9 horse today, rallying 4 wide to finish 2nd. First time, as you mentioned, going long, right, Pete?
First time going long, first time on the grass, and she ran very, very well. Unfortunately, she didn't run well enough for me. I needed her to win the race that afternoon. The winner of the race is Summer Valentine, who just took over in the purple colors under Ramsey Zimmerman. Summer Valentine was a drop down from Mike Trombetta out of Special Weight Company. The turf course was very, very soft that afternoon. That's great news because it's a similar turf course here this afternoon. You can see Caribbean Princess there on the outside finishing up, and she does do some very good late work. Summer Valentine getting a little fatigued. Caribbean Princess cutting down that horse, but just couldn't get there at the wire. I think a continued improvement, and as you touched on, in my opinion, Susie's Pride of Paris was not only a single, but was as close to a mortal cinch as you would ever get in horse racing. She's out now, so this race becomes wide open, and Caribbean Princess may inherit top billing.
Yeah, we both used the number 11, Pura Rose. I used it in second, was Game in defeat when she rallied to finish third. She was beaten a length at 14-1 on a good turf course at this same level and distance. That's what she's going to be dealing with today.
Imperial Rose was third in that backtrack we just showed you, with Caribbean Princess second. This filly's going to win a race over the turf course. You can mark my words on that. She's shown significant improvement since she switched to the turf course. I don't worry about the distance. I don't worry about the condition of the ground, and she's been facing a lot of these same horses, so she makes a lot of sense to me. A horse that also makes some sense to me is number 9, Leroy's Baby. Leroy's Baby is a daughter of Loa de Sanamo, who went favored in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Leroy's Baby makes her second start in South Florida, makes her first start on the grass, first start around 2 turns. Time to improve. I think this is the time to do it.
Well, the number 3 competitive player continues its free-for-all through the maiden claiming ranks after finishing 4th against maiden special weight, going 5 furlongs last time out, and 4th against $50,000 maidens, going 7.5 furlongs on November 2nd. So now $25,000 might hit this one right in the eye and get the job done.
Well, she's the kind of filly that's had her opportunities already for me, so when she wins, I lose.
Okay, let's go to the final race of the afternoon, and this is a 6 furlong maiden claimers, 2-year-olds, $50,000. I went with the number 7 here, Super Spender, drop into the $50,000 level, wearing blinkers, first start since finishing 6th. Here it is, maiden special weight debut at Monmouth. This one, trainer Jane Sibeli has the son of Super Saver training forwardly for the first start since August 3rd. Paco Lopez in the saddle.
Well, you already took my thunder now, but here's the thing about, I'm not going to argue. Anybody who wants to bet on Super Spender, you get no argument from me. I'll even ignore the Monmouth the fact that she ran at Monmouth. She could have ran at Yavapai for all I care. I'm intrigued by something. This horse is very, very well bred by Kentucky Derby winner Super Saver, debuting for a barn that's notoriously good with first-time starters in Jane Sibeli, and yet the horse was ice cold on the board in the debut. Went off at 12-1 and ran to the billing that afternoon. So I don't know what to do with her. The Monmouth thing's not so much a factor for me as much as I just don't trust her form. Horse I used on top will be a huge number 3, King Gato. Tony Pecoraro first time out. Full disclosure, I'm part of the people that bet the $2.39 ROI with Tony Pecoraro first timers. If he runs a first timer, it doesn't matter where it is. If I'm investing on that horse, and that will be the angle here. I guess you could call that rule 99. Tony Pecoraro first time, always worth $2.
You heard it here first. I also used the 1 Drama King and the 4 Cole Minor on my tickets. And anything else, Pete, before we throw this thing over to your changes?
The 10 horse, I'm a big hitter, first time starter for O'Connell, merits consideration. And as you touched on, Cole Minor is getting better and better and better. Takes a drop in class, exiting a super live race.
Well, good luck with all your selections throughout the afternoon, and good is the key word here because we got a good main track, a good turf course. Pete, $250,000 up for grabs.
Good luck. You'll need it.